Can other long-distance companies offer you all AT&T can?
Wake up! Hey, wake up!
The mystery into whether or not we're alone in the universe has been a constant question for over 6 decades.
We've always heard eyewitness reports saying that they've seen UFOs or they've had close encounters with aliens and alien abductions.
Breaking news tonight about UFOs in America, which appear to be real. Straight ahead.
I think what's important is that we have identified some very, very interesting anomalous type of aircraft. Let's call them aircraft.
Just the idea that we do have aliens, but that we need to tell the public in very small segmented ways so that it isn't a panic.
Oh, geez, that's great. Is the lighting halfway, David? Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now.
Hello out there, everybody. Manny here at Area 503. And I hope you all have been well since our last video.
Not sure what happened with the internet, but I had a hiccup right at the beginning. That's a great way to start. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but I hope that I'm back. Not sure if I'm back or not. Had a little bit of an internet snafu there. I guess we'll see if it's come back or not. Guess it's a good thing I scheduled this a little early. How's that? I think I'm back. All right. Of course, I tested everything last night and it worked flawlessly. And for some reason today, it wanted to make me look like a fool in front of y'all. So you know what? All right, let's do this. Here we are. Perseverance rover 2020. She's going to be coming down here in less than an hour. I've got different kinds of live feeds to look at here for the telemetry. So let's check in on this puppy right now and see where she's at the moment. So it looks like the landing module is about 8,700 miles away from the planet. Touchdown's in about an hour and 3 minutes. The next phase, it says, is the D-spin in 47 minutes, so that's kind of interesting. The D-spin, it's going to slow its roll, so to speak. Wow. Okay. So when did all this start? I guess it was about January, July 30th, 2020, Perseverance launched with the Ingenuity rover off to Mars. It was one of, I think, 3 different missions that launched that month to the Red Planet. But Perseverance is kind of an interesting mission. It's got some first of its kind, like we're going to experience landing with the rover today in high definition with the cameras and the microphones. So instead of just getting normal computer telemetry, we're going to actually get to go down with the descent module, which I think is pretty dang cool. I've always wanted to see and hear what it looks like sounds like on the Red Planet, so now we'll get a chance. If you missed the launch of Perseverance, I've got a little video that I put together to show you guys. So there was the launch, and yeah, NASA makes a pretty good hype video. I think I make a better one sometimes, but you know, that's just artist pride, right? Everybody thinks that their art's the best in the world. But yeah, so there she goes, Perseverance and Ingenuity off to Mars. And you know, there's some other technologies that they're using that we'll talk about in a little bit that are first of its kind here. Some of the landing technologies that they're implementing are going to be, used for the first time on a foreign planet. They have a super large descent parachute that they're going to be testing. This whole mission is it's groundbreaking all the way through, from how it got to the planet to how it's going to land on the planet to what it's going to do when it gets there. You know, this rover is the first NASA mission. It's the first Mars mission to be sent out specifically to look for alien life, and you can understand why that kind of gets me excited. Here we are, we're looking for life. If we find life on Mars, well, boy, there's got to be life everywhere. That's all I'm saying. But this little puppy is hopefully going to find it. There's some other technologies that are pretty interesting on this rover too. The one that kind of captivates me is the MOXIE experiment, which is the Mars Oxygen Creation experiment. It's going to take CO2 out of the Martian atmosphere and separate the oxygen and see if that's a viable process to get breathable oxygen for astronauts or for fuel once we get to Mars. So that's kind of interesting if we can just pull it right out of the atmosphere. I'm assuming it's some kind of form of carbon capture technology, but I haven't really dug into the science behind it yet. I just think it's great that they can supply oxygen that's there and use that maybe to get a sort of a terraforming going, or a little greenhouse or something like that, But we'll see what happens. You got to get on the planet first, and that's what we're going to hopefully see today, is this sucker come down in one piece properly. Let's see what's going on over at JPL right now.
Good seal on your mask.
So I think they're still doing their mic warm-ups and checking all the comm lines and whatnot. I've got this live raw feed here, so hopefully we get the best audio on the descent and landing. It's not very entertaining, though, hearing these guys chatter. Unless you're hearing a lot, if you like hearing people say 5x5 and check and Roger and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of like it. So Perseverance and Ingenuity are not the first to arrive at Mars recently. In fact, like I said, there was two other missions that were recently sent to the Red Planet. China sent the Tianwan rover and orbiter. It made its entry into Mars here last week, or a couple weeks ago, I think. And the United Arab Emirates actually sent an orbiter called the Hope Orbiter, which is really, both of these programs are really, really cool. China's going to send this orbiter. It's going to launch a lander here in a few weeks, I think about 6 weeks next month in March. So if you're interested in watching that one, look up Tianwan, sorry. And the UAE are the first Arab country to send a satellite to Mars, which is a pretty remarkable achievement for them as well. So we'll see what's going on with those two programs a little later. I've got a video to watch that kind of highlights those two, and we'll take a peek at that. There's everyone's trying to get on the JPL feed. Everyone's trying to get to the live feed of the lander, so the data gets a little swamped. Their servers, I don't think, we're used to handling this kind of excitement, but people all over the world have been watching this mission. You know, it's part of the Mars 2020 program, and like I said, there's a lot of firsts here, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen when they turn these microphones on here. It's just going to be amazing. So like I said, NASA did a pretty good hype video for this event, but I said I did a better one. What do you guys think? I'm going to play it for you. Okay. Sorry, I dropped a little bit there. I think I'm getting that figured out. I am trying to do so much on my internet connection today, so I'm glad that it's working at all. It isn't the best. It works. It's these 2 tin cans with a wet string, you know, but if I line things up right, it normally works pretty good for me. But, yeah. So what did you guys think of the hype video? I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. You know? Yeah, so it's no small feat to land on Mars, you know. If you've studied any of these Mars missions that have gone on in the past, you know that quite a few of them actually end in failure. It's remarkably difficult, and, you know, there's the distance involved, there's all sorts of things. You know, the Martian atmosphere is only about 1% as dense as the Earth atmosphere, so that makes it a challenge. You know, and this particular landing is going to be pretty difficult because Jezero Crater, which is the landing site, is just, it's strewn with rubble and debris. It's a giant crater, but they think it was a lake bed at some point, you know, millions of years ago. And so they're thinking that's the best spot to find, you know, microbial life, which is why they've landed there or chose to land there. But this rover is going to come down completely automated. This landing module is going to use light detection. It's going to use artificial intelligence. It uses, you know, all of these automated programs to try to get down, figure out where it's at, you know, adjust its trajectory on the way down and land safely, which is no small feat. No small feat at all. So I've got my fingers crossed for him. I hope this puppy can come down in one piece, but either way, we're going to enjoy the ride because, like I said, there's going to be high definitions and cameras and microphones. So this is going to be too cool. It looks like they're checking all the deep space network and checking all the different satellites just to make sure that everything's running properly. They've been running checks for the last hour over there at NASA and JPL. Let's see if we can hear what they're talking about. Yeah, they're kind of boring. But what are you going to do?
I take that back. It looks like that might have gotten pushed a little bit, so we do have the room to do our updates here.
Okay, so they're updating something? That's not a good sign. I'm guessing it's just a firmware on one of the satellites. I guess we'll see. Okay. Just keeps buffering. Well. So I was trying to show you a test video of some of the new equipment that they're using on this landing. I talked about a parachute. That's the first of its kind. This thing is ginormous. Normally when a lander comes down like this, you would see you know, up to 4 parachutes sometimes that spread out on these long, like bungee cord type straps. But they're using one giant parachute on this one. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to work. It's been tested. It looks like it's going to work. That's only one part of the landing system, though. There's also some thrusters, and there's also a separation stage where the rover will actually drop out of the bottom of the landing module on cables. It's actually quite amazing. It seems to me like imagine taking something like this and plopping it on Earth 100 years ago and landing it. Wouldn't you think it was alien? I would. I mean, for sure. But, you know, yeah, that's where we're at with technology today. These things are landing themselves. They're coming down. You know, it's just amazing. It's amazing. We live in one of the most exciting times of human history, I believe. And, you know, we just got to know where to look to enjoy it, I guess. Let's take a look at this test video here. They talk about the different things, the centrifuge testing like they're doing now, that giant parachute. There's some extremely durable tires on this thing because they have to last. You can't really just call AAA if you get a flat on Mars now, can you? You're pretty much stuck with the wheels you got when you land. So they have to make sure that everything on this vehicle is going to survive the expected lifespan of the mission. But let's take a look at this testing video real quick. They look like they rattle a bunch, but you know, they last forever. But yeah, so they're testing all kinds of new technology on them. Just gonna go ahead and give Elon some money. Oh my God. Okay, let's go ahead and check on this thing. See if I can figure out. Looks like we got about a half an hour till it comes down, maybe 40 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm really apologize for the stuttering and the buffering, guys. I'm doing my best to keep this going. I will figure it out. So I talked earlier about the Tianwan and the Hope missions that are also coming to Mars or have come to Mars. One of them is in orbit already and is sending telemetry back and sending data back. And the other one is in orbit and is going to separate and launch a rover down to the planet here next month and will continue to orbit the planet, take readings for different things. I think it's real great. It's amazing that the international community, everybody is interested in getting out there to space and doing their part to contribute, toe the line, you know. There was a part. Oh, we do need Elon. Elon, save us. Bring high-speed internet to the world for cheap, if not free, if you can, buddy. Yeah, I was talking about Tianwan and the Hope missions. And, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, like we've got the UAE, who's the first Arab country to send a spacecraft to Mars. And, you know, recently, Turkey announced that they were, starting a large space program as well. So you've got these countries that haven't really been, you know, maybe haven't been interested in space or haven't had the resources to, you know, pursue it, but now are finding the resources and finding the way to get there and to become a part of this because they know, everybody knows, this is the future, fellas. This is where it is. If you're not going forward with this, you're going to be left behind, and nobody wants to get left behind. But, so Mars is the place to be, although I feel like Mars is a past. It's not a future. We're going to go there to study the planet. We're going to go there to see if there's life there, but, you know, I don't think we're going to find anything extremely useful beyond those two things there. We're not going to find some ancient technology buried. At least I don't think so. You know, anything like that probably would have been destroyed if it was there, but, you know, we are still going to go there. I look at the planet and it doesn't seem like our future. You know, but we still need to explore it, and we need to know if there's life there, because like I said earlier, if there's life on Earth and there's life on Mars, there's life all over this universe, folks, not just the solar system, you know. We're finding water on icy moons like Enceladus and Europa, you know, so who knows what's going on over there. Oh, something's going on over at the live stream. They're clapping. Let's go check in on them here and see. Nope. Buffering? Oh, that's great. Buffering. That's what we're going to call this. Buffering. The great buffer descent of 2020. Oh, my goodness. Paranormal Theory says, you need to play the Johnny 5 is Alive clip when it lands. Yeah, I know, from Short Circuit. I wish I had it ready. Do not just disassemble Johnny 5. Oh, let's go back over here. Let's see if I can find out exactly where this thing was again.
Meters we had previously.
Copy. This may be our last look before we stop stealing the screen. Do you want to go ahead and show it? With the viewplane, if you have it. Thanks.
Okay, all stations, as with our tradition, we usually would have some peanuts at this moment. We all had our peanuts at lunch, but to keep our tradition, I will take one peanut for all of us to keep our tradition.
Peanuts? I didn't get the memo. And I like peanuts. Dang it. I'm going to have to look that tradition up. I wonder what that is, a peanut. Well, they're still getting ready over there. Looks like we got about 25 minutes or so till expected entry. Of course, that could go one way or the other. You know, this spacecraft's coming down one way or another today is what I'm saying. I just hope it's successfully. So if you're curious about what the mission at the Perseverance has been sent to Oh, here we go. Here's a little short clip that talks about Perseverance mission and the Ingenuity helicopter, just a little bit.
NASA's Mars Perseverance rover left Earth 6 months ago. Now we are gearing up for touchdown on the Red Planet in just a few weeks. The rover will attempt to land in Jezero Crater on February 18th. It's the most difficult landing site on Mars ever attempted, but the Perseverance rover and the team are ready. Welcome to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. I'm Raquel Villanueva. Today we are here to talk about Perseverance's mission. We will go over the challenges the team has faced and the challenging landing ahead. We will also talk about the mission's science goals and how Perseverance fits into NASA's future plans for Mars sample return. I'd like to start by welcoming Thomas Zurbuchen.
Hey, thanks so much. I'm so pleased to be here today as the Perseverance rover makes the final kilometers on its long journey to Mars and the landing on February 18th. I want to note for a moment the place where we find ourselves. A place where a mission to Mars and what all of us do in science and exploration provide hope and unity. At the request of the new administration, a rock from the Apollo 17 mission was delivered to the White House on loan on display in the Oval Office. A recognition of our science instruments will inform the future journey of astronauts there. Our rover and while we are all eagerly awaiting the day next month when Perseverance safely lands on the Red Planet, it is not guaranteed that we will be successful. It's very hard. You'll hear my colleagues on this panel talk about the difficulties of landing, the technologies that make it possible, and the hope a successful landing brings for finally bringing a sample of Mars home to Earth. But the journey of Perseverance also begins with a successful touchdown. It only begins that way, in fact. Then the hard work and the long-term perseverance really starts. That's because Perseverance is also the first step in a round-trip mission to Mars. Our rover begins an ambitious international campaign with the European Space Agency to bring pristine samples from Mars safely back to Earth through our Mars Sample Return campaign, which you'll hear my colleague Dr. Lori Glaze speak about in more detail. We know that Mars had a wet past, and we used our Spirit and Opportunity rovers to follow the water in search of answers as to why this once ocean world is now dry and desolate. We have additional missions in development and formulation, but the Mars 2020 Perseverance rover is the next step in a logical progression that NASA has strategically pursued with Mars exploration, and it builds upon decades of knowledge, experience, and unique expertise. Perseverance is our robotic astrobiologist, and it will be the first rover NASA has sent to Mars with the explicit goal of searching for signs of ancient life. It will build upon what we currently know from our previous rovers, orbiters, and landers, and it will attempt to answer an age-old question that has eluded humanity for generations: whether life has ever existed elsewhere beyond our own planet, our Earth. At NASA, we are dedicated to the peaceful exploration of space for the benefit of humanity, and we are dedicated to inspiring the next generation of explorers. Science has the power to unite us as it transcends language, borders, and many boundaries of many types. This mission could not have a better name: Perseverance. And it is my sincere hope that this mission will inspire all of us, all of you, to persevere together in hopes of a better tomorrow.
Perseverance for a better tomorrow. I like that idea. It sounds like over at the live stream they just did a radio silent call out, so it looks like they're probably not going to be talking anymore until they get into the EDL phase, or only official chatter. So let's see what's going on over there.
Reinforcement of the state that the vehicle was in throughout much of cruise and EDL approach. And it's our precursor to making many more radical changes to the state of the vehicle. Matt Wallace said it well the other day. This is EDL is kind of like a controlled disassembly of the vehicle. As we go through, we need to get rid of the things we don't need anymore and get ready to put our wheels on the ground. So one of the final things that we're doing here is ensuring that our ACS knowledge is top-notch. We depend on ACS to pass an estimate of the vehicle's attitude and rate of change to EDL, and that's our starting point for propagating down to the ground. When we come up in EDL, the EDL prep anchor is when we'll take the last state from ACS, and we'll be propagating from that point to the ground until we get more knowledge from the radar once we turn it on. I can give a high-level overview of some of the events that are going to transpire throughout EDL. Of course, commentary will be detailing this as we go through, and you'll hear a lot of members of the EDL team calling out specific events as they occur and indicators as we see them. But to give everyone an idea of what we're going to see, we will first start shortly here. We'll get news that the vehicle has separated the cruise stage, since we no longer need that. As we make our way through the atmosphere, we'll be firing our DRCS thrusters that poke out the back of the back shell, and this will allow us to steer our trajectory as we make our way through the atmosphere. This is one of the things that allowed MSL, the Curiosity rover, to land where it did. And we're depending on the same type of entry guidance this time around to help get us very close to our target. As we make our way through entry, finish our guided entry profile, we'll do a maneuver called heading alignment, where we point toward the target and get ready to deploy the parachute. But before we deploy the parachute, we need to get rid of a set of balance masses that have been giving us a center of gravity, or CG offset, throughout the guided entry phase. So these are called the entry balance masses. We also call this maneuver SUFR, S-U-F-R, or straighten up and fly right. So we'll go ahead and eject those masses when we get a trigger from the GNC system telling us that we're at the appropriate range to the target to do so. As soon as we deploy those, we will no longer have a CG offset, and we'll be ready to deploy the parachute 17 seconds later. I'm going to hold here for EDO prep as we're about to start that anchor.
Copy phase 2. And activity, please call that out when it's ready. Copy flight.
We're about 10 minutes away from entry, maybe 15. So stay tuned, and seems like they're doing the last of the final preparations and the checks for everything here.
All stations at this point, let's limit our traffic on the net to critical issues only.
Traffic on the net for critical issues only. That's right, Manny. Keep the chatter down.
Go EDL-COM.
As per step 205 in the OCP, we can confirm that MRO has started their first loop.
Copy EDL-COM.
God, I don't know how these guys can keep from just jumping out of their chairs. They all seem very lackluster at that command center.
Has begun. We have stopped our A-man, started the raw DP for EVL, idled the nav filter and IVP, and we are now propagating via the DIMU. We've powered on our UHF, but it's not yet transmitting, and the anchor has complete. We expect our next anchor to start in 2 minutes.
Copy activity.
So we're starting the descent procedure, and they're going to start slowing the module down, and at some point it's going to eject the top part of the spacecraft, which are those solar panels, and that's what's pretty much gotten the craft here. It's just going to jettison that and say, hey, thanks for the ride, buddy. You're out of here. And this whole spacecraft is just going to start popping apart, kind of like a Russian nesting doll with different pieces in it for different parts of the landing process.
Battery change.
It really is amazing technology. I'm fascinated by this. The planning that it takes to make something like this work is just phenomenal.
Phase 2 back on that.
we are reinforcing the BCB discharge and charge state. We are powering on the pyro firing card.
We're about 14 minutes from entry interface. The vehicle is currently preparing the heat rejection system that has kept the thermal system cool inside the air shell for about the last 6 months. This will allow the spacecraft to more easily cut the line in upcoming cruise stage separation, which is under 4 minutes now.
We have now enabled the rover pyro bus. We are powering off the cruise stage devices.
Sounds like they're powering up the cruise stage devices. Okay, so that's going to be the thrusters that are going to move it into
Upcoming cruise stage separation in about 3 minutes 15 seconds by powering off all the devices on the cruise stage in order that they can be safe once the cruise stage is jettisoned.
So that's going to be the jettison procedure that I talked about, where it gets rid of the solar panels and the thrusters that have got it this far.
We are firing our first pyros to vent the HRS liquid and gas. The HRS vent anchor is complete. We will see the next anchor in approximately 3 minutes.
We are currently 12.5 minutes from entry interface. We are coming upon cruise stage separation in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
I'm starting to get excited. My heart's pounding a little faster. Uh-oh. Here we go. About 12 minutes. So in about 2 minutes, that'll be that cruise stage separation, and the landing module will start to enter the atmosphere. And at that point, it's going to have a massive heat shield on the bottom of the craft to displace that heat. Because as these things come down, there's a lot of friction. Even though there's only a 1% atmosphere density there on Mars, there's still a lot of friction. And it's going to use that friction to slow the craft down part of the way. Kind of like a meteorite entering the atmosphere. In fact, exactly like a meteorite entering the atmosphere. But yeah, that's where we're going to be at about, I don't know, a minute and a half now.
We're about a minute and a half from cruise stage separation, about 11 minutes, 20 seconds from entry interface.
We are switching to the MFSK tones. Telemetry will have stopped.
Telecom is confirming that the spacecraft has switched to broadcasting tones. These tones are received directly from Perseverance, but have very limited information content. We won't receive real-time information until about 9-10 minutes from now, once the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter starts relaying information from Perseverance. We are under a minute from cruise stage separation, about 10.5 minutes from entry interface.
All right, it's time to tango.
We are seeing the heartbeat tones.
We're continuing to receive tones from Perseverance, standing by for cruise stage separation.
RCS priming.
There she goes. There's no turning back now.
We have indication that cruise stage separation has been confirmed by the spacecraft.
Yeah, all right.
In about 1 minute, Perseverance's landing software will wake up and begin the final preparations for entry. The first action it will do is to fire warm-up pulses with its entry thrusters. These pulses ensure that the spacecraft gets the thrust that it wants during entry interface. We're about 9 minutes from entry interface.
About 9 minutes from entry. Got rid of the cruise stage. And that, like I said, there is no turning back. We ain't got no wheels to go home. This is what you call all in a poker term.
I have confirmation that we got shadowed by the cruise stage as it passed through our beam to the Earth.
Telecom indicated actually that we could see a signal that the cruise stage went between the Perseverance entry capsule and Earth. So we saw a little blip, the data stream indicating cruise stage separation. We have confirmation that the vehicle has started warming up those entry thrusters. Warm-up pulses have begun.
Spin down.
At this point, the spacecraft is trying to stop its spin
PBM.
from the cruise 2 revolutions per minute down to 0, and then will turn to its desired orientation from entry. It will...
I need to get a hold of my buddy Elon and get some Starlink going on.
MRO reports carrier lock. The DTE from Radio Science from Green Bank reports carrier lock. Do you see the carrier on the downlink?
This is as expected. We're currently just over 6 minutes from entry interface.
Okay, back from the buffer. We're about 6 minutes out. Everything is nominal at this point. There was a small dip in sensor information when the cruise stage actually passed in between the Earth and the lander, which caused the signal to drop momentarily, but that's, no big problem. So everything's moving right along.
We're just under, we're about 5.5 minutes from entry interface. We're still receiving heartbeat tones. We expect to continue receiving heartbeat tones until about 5 minutes after entry. At that time, Perseverance will be no longer in view of our antennas here on Earth. About 90 seconds prior to entry, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should begin receiving telemetry from Perseverance and streaming it to Earth in near real time. There are a few expected short outages, such as when we have a plasma blackout or when we enter the peak heating phase. Aside from these outages caused by the plasma blackout, antenna switching, or high dynamic events, spacecraft events, we should have telemetry until about 90 seconds after landing. A plasma blackout is when the signal from Perseverance isn't strong enough to make it through the superheated, super fast air flowing around the spacecraft all the way down to Earth. Once the temperature drops below that peak heating, we do reacquire the signal from Perseverance. We are currently about 4.5 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance continues to report heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
MRO reports the electro radio is powered on, ready to receive signals from the lander.
Mars Reconnaissance is orbiter.
Now, as we're Mars reconnaissance.
To receive the signals from Perseverance. It should be in a few minutes here. We're just
Flight level 1
from entry interface. Around this time, a second spacecraft, Maven, should begin picking up telemetry from Perseverance and will continue to record that telemetry until several minutes post-landing. We won't get that data for several hours after landing as it's being recorded and then will be forwarded to Earth later. We are continuing to receive heartbeat tones, indicating that everything is nominal. We're currently at about 3 minutes until entry interface.
Oh, 3 minutes. Oh. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting really excited. I want to hear this thing. I want to see this thing. I want to know what happens. I want to see it. We're here. We're all here together. Thank you guys again for joining me. Everyone who's out there in the chat, everyone who's watching this in the replay, thanks for sticking through all the buffering. Thanks for coming by.
2 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance to transmit heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
Everything's still nominal. We're getting the call out. The heartbeat tones are coming through. Look at these people. Cool as a cucumber. Every single one of them. How? I'd be jumping up and down, sitting on my hands, you know, swinging from the ceiling fans. No, this guy here, he just went and checked his Clash of Clans league. I mean, he is so cool. He's like, whatever. Yeah, I got a raid. Oh my goodness.
We're just under 2 minutes from entry interface. As it gets closer to Mars, Perseverance is actually being pulled in by gravity and accelerating. By the time Perseverance reaches entry interface point, she should be going just under 5.4 kilometers per second. We're at about 90 seconds from entry interface and standing by for Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to pick up the telemetry.
So they're trying to get the link with the MRO to get the telemetry back here to Earth. That's a permanent orbiter that we have in place, and it's been in place for a while over Mars. And it just collects data from other satellites or rovers that are sent there and relays it back to the Earth. I talked a little bit about it during the InSight landing mission.
We are 1 minute from entry interface.
1 minute. Oh, 1 minute. What's gonna happen? Are we taking bets here? Is there an over/under?
Receive mode.
We have confirmation that the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is now relaying data from Perseverance. We're about 30 seconds from entry interface. Perseverance is going about 5.2 kilometers per second and is about 190 kilometers altitude above the surface of Mars.
Confirm your jet data flow.
Here we go.
About seconds from
MPLSW on.
5.3 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 150 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Entry.
We have confirmation of entry interface. Perseverance is currently going 5.3 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 120 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
That's the top of the atmosphere there.
The spacecraft is now waiting until it begins feeling the atmosphere of Mars to slow it down. Once there is enough atmosphere, it will start controlling its path to the landing target.
Doppler indicates entry into the atmosphere.
Navigation is also confirming that we can see a little bit of that slowdown of the atmosphere on the Perseverance entry capsule. Our current velocity is about 5.36 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 67 kilometers from the surface.
We are probably seeing MRO plasma blackout at this point.
Bank 1 completed.
MRO has lost log.
Probably indicate reversal, bank reversal.
We have indications that Perseverance is now performing bank reversals in the atmosphere. These are the steps in order to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance has just passed through the point of maximum deceleration and has indicated that it felt approximately 10 Earth Gs of deceleration.
MRO has lock again.
Doppler indicate reversal. Bank 2 complete.
We saw a small outage of the UHF telemetry from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter during that peak heating phase, likely caused by the plasma blackout. Perseverance is still continuing to perform bank reversals in the atmosphere to control its distance to the landing target.
Doppler indicate reversal.
End of range control, range minus 1.9 kilometers, cross range minus 2.4 kilometers.
Perseverance is going about 1 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 16 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have entered heading alignment, which means Perseverance is no longer trying to control the distance to Mars, but to the target on Mars, but instead is flying straight to the target.
So we passed the plasma blackout stage, and now the lander is trying to navigate its way to Jezero Crater, where it's going to try to then deploy the parachute and come down. This is all automated. All of this is done by AI and using Doppler systems, LiDAR, everything that you're going to see on your self-driving car here soon. only we're landing on Mars.
About 550 meters per second at an altitude of about 15 kilometers from the surface.
MRO is reporting good telemetry lock.
We are coming upon the
start.
We are starting the straighten up and fly right maneuver,
UVMD jettison,
where the spacecraft will jettison the entry balance masses in preparation for parachute deploy and to roll over to give the radar a better look at the ground.
Doppler indicate chute deploy.
The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration in the velocity. Our current velocity is 440 meters per second at an altitude of about 12 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
All right, so the parachute is deployed successfully. And Wreaking Havoc asked about when it's going to switch to the cameras. I believe that's when the bottom heat shield will separate.
Subsonic speeds, and the heat shield has been separated. This allows both the radar and the cameras to get their first look at the surface. Current velocity is 145 meters per second at an altitude of about 9.5 kilometers above the surface.
So yeah, there was heat shield separation, so we might be getting a look here soon. I'm not sure if that telemetry is going to come through in near real time or if we'll have to wait till it lands, but hopefully we'll get the live landing.
nav filter converge, velocity solution 3.3 meters per second, altitude 7.4 kilometers.
Now has radar lock on the ground. Current velocity is about 100 meters per second, 6.6 kilometers above the surface of Mars. Perseverance is continuing to descend on the parachute. We are coming up on the initialization of terrain relative navigation and subsequently the priming of the landing engines. Our current velocity is about 90 meters per second at an altitude of 4.2 kilometers.
All right, so there's radar lock on the ground. That means that
we have confirmation that the lander vision system has produced a valid solution and part of terrain relative navigation.
Priming. TBA is nominal.
We have priming of the landing engines.
Back shell set.
Is 83 meters per second at about 2.6 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation that the back shell has separated. We are currently performing the divert maneuver. Current velocity is about 75 meters per second at an altitude of about 1 kilometer off the surface of Mars.
TRN Safety Bravo.
We have completed our terrain relative navigation. Current speed is about 30 meters per second, altitude of about 300 meters off the surface of Mars.
SPS level.
Constant velocity
104.
Constant velocity accordion, altitude air.
We have started our constant velocity accordion, which means we are conducting the sky crane, about to conduct the sky crane maneuver.
We've lost direct to Earth tones.
Throttle down.
Sky crane maneuver has started. About 20 meters.
Tango Delta.
Touchdown. He called it. Confirm.
We're getting signals from MRO.
Renew stable.
UHF is good.
UHF is good.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance.
All right. Fuck yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. All right. They made it.
At this point, the descent stage has flown away to a safe distance. Perseverance is continuing to transmit direct orbiter to Earth.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Oh my god. Wow, so it come down. I can't wait to see that footage. It's going to be transmitting back, and we might get a look at it here real quick of this thing coming down. I really hope that they replay that for us.
All right, all stations. Touchdown confirmed. We're going to wait for the images.
Yeah, we'll wait for the images. I want to see what that's all about. There better not be any little green men there hanging out. Like, welcome to Mars. Did you bring Big Mac? No? We'll go back to Earth then. Wow. Now, there's the excitement. I knew that all these people, I knew every single one of these people, they were all excited. They were just bottling it up because they weren't sure it was going to happen. They thought it might, you know, like I said earlier, Mars is a remarkably difficult planet to land on. It doesn't have a good success rate.
You have what you need?
Flight 3, I have what I need. Flight, we have seen the completion of EDL 3000.
Copy.
Copy activity. That is as expected.
MRO is still seeing a strong signal from the lander.
Flight, this is OL3. I am ready to share.
OL3, you are go. For those on M.
All stations stand by for the images. Yeah!
Here we go, folks.
Flight, this is OL3. I have the target point on the map when you are ready. We are ready, OL3. Go for it. Oh. Flight, I'll be moving in, showing you the safe zone that we've landed in.
Wow, look at that. Look at the cratering. Oh, that's amazing. That's Mars, folks. Wow.
OL flight.
Well done, JPL, NASA, all of you. You guys did an amazing job with this project so far.
TRN. TRN.
Your
Can
mic
we
is
get
hot,
the,
lady.
cliff image, OL?
I want to see some of those descent images. Oh, there we go. Now we're looking at some of the infrared, I think.
Activity, this is OL. Can you repeat that request on M20 EDL off?
OL, can we
Yeah.
get the other image? Should show the cliff.
Now we're talking. Perseverance has stereoscopic infrared cameras on it.
Flight OL3. OL3. You can see we've landed about 35 meters from the nearest rocks that we could identify from orbit by their shadows. Copy OL3, TRN in action.
Yep. Take that, Desero. Woo!
Take that, Jezero.
Looks good. Copy OL3. I'm sure that you have seen them all and you recognize them all. So
Flight reports Electra still in lock with the lander.
Flight, we have seen the transition to surface. EDL is done.
Woo! Woo-hoo! Transition to surface. All stations are...
MRO. Congratulations, Perseverance team, and the whole team that's not here as well. Excellent job.
Congratulations, Perseverance team, all of you. You guys, like I said earlier, you did an amazing job here. It's no small feat to put a rover down on Mars. And you did it with untested technologies. I think that's going to be paving the ground for future missions, honestly.
All stations on M20 EDL ops, we have transitioned to surface as reported downstairs. If you're part of that story to the surface team, make sure you're starting to work those inputs, please.
Well, I'm not sure if there's going to be much more going on over at JPL. Maybe we should switch over to the main NASA channel and see if there's something going on over there.
And just an amazing accomplishment.
And what does this mean for NASA and its future plans?
So for robotic exploration, every time we execute a mission with new instruments, we discover new things and things we never thought we would discover. So that always informs our future robotic missions, both landers, rovers, and orbiters. This mission also has technology on it. One of the cool things is the Ingenuity helicopter. It's an experiment on this mission. But if it's successful, we can use it as an science observation platform by putting instruments on it, and also use it as a scout for future rover missions. And then just the intercept and landing capability. It'll allow us to land more larger, more ambitious robots on the surface of Mars. And then for human exploration, we have the Mars Intercept and Landing Instrumentation, which is going to give us EDL information. We have the Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer. It's going to give us properties, size and properties of dust particles, because when we send people, we're going to have to deal with that dust. And this is just an incredible mission because of the science and the technology, and then caching samples for a Mars sample return mission. That will be an amazing mission, the first round trip to Mars and back, and bringing those samples cached by Perseverance back to Earth to examine with state-of-the-art equipment in our laboratories here on Earth.
We have so much to look forward to. And we also have a student question coming in from Landon. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Landon Applegate.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the JPL feed. I don't know, like I said, if there's going to be any more live information coming out or not. If there is, we'll pop over to it and hang out just a few more minutes and see if they're going to give us some of that landing data. I really want to hear and see that. That's what this mission's all about, is experiencing what it's like on Mars firsthand. You know, getting a first look at what the human settlers are going to see, or the astronauts are going to see when they get there, and they're going there. So for us here on Earth, if they say, yeah, we found microbial life on Mars, it exists, you know, are people going to listen? Are they going to be hip? Are people going to, you know, reject it because it's contradictory to their worldview? I guess time will tell. But you know, we're going out there. We're going to Mars. We're going further. We're sending satellites out there, you know, to other systems. We're going to start, I think October this year, the James Webb Space Telescope is scheduled to be launched. And that'll give us a good, you know, view on the rest of the universe as well. The Hubble Space Telescope taught us so much about, you know, what's going on. It was just amazing. Like, we thought we knew what was going on, and then we fired that thing up and we're like, wow, there's a lot more in the universe than we ever thought. I can only imagine what's going to happen when they get the Webb up there and get it going. It should be pretty amazing. It's been a long time in the making, and this is one expensive telescope. And I plan to do a full video on that here in the near future. So if you're interested in space exploration and the, you know, astronomy and that sort of thing, watch for the video on the James Webb. But for today, it's all about Perseverance and a successful landing on Mars, which I couldn't be more happier about, to be honest with you. I've been watching this project for a while. Oh.
This one? Or if I should get HBC on it so you can focus on the handoff.
Something's going on over here at JPL. Let's see what they're doing.
5,700 cases.
So you see those infrared images pop up? That's because Perseverance has got, like I said earlier, stereoscopic infrared cameras on it, as well as the normal cameras. It's got, I think, 5 or 6 cameras on it. So when this thing gets fully operational, we're going to be learning a lot about the Martian topography, geology, everything that it can scan and look for. Infrared's a good waveform to look in, as well as the other spectrum, you know, but as far as I know, this is the first one that's going to have the stereoscopic infrared on it, the first rover. So that's kind of interesting. It should help us learn what's going on over there in Jezero and on Mars. I'm not sure if we're going to get more data or not. The folks over at JPL are thumping their chest and giving everyone high fives. I did, you know, when InSight landed, we got some similar photos with the dust covers on, but it didn't take them very long to get those things removed to get a real color image of the Martian surface. And I gotta tell you, I was surprised by just how, you know, dusty and kind of gray it was. I was expecting it to be this bright red planet like all the NASA images, and apparently most of the publication or the publicated images, the published images, are all, enhanced, because the raw images, it was surprising how kind of, it almost looked like it had a kind of light blue sky, there on Mars. I guess we'll see when they get the dust covers off of these cameras. So yeah, one of the other devices that I didn't really talk that much about, which is a very phenomenal device, is the Ingenuity drone that's going to get launched off of the rover. The Ingenuity is a helicopter drone that is designed...
Everyone.
I'm not sure what's going on here. They called all stations.
All right, all stations. Congratulations, but believe it or not, we have a job to do now.
OL1, TAD1.
Go TAD1.
Are we ready to look the handoff?
Surface flight, this is flight.
Yes, please.
Should I go ahead and just share it in the WebEx that we're working now?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, flight.
Just want
TAD1,
to
do we have
confirm
your
that
eyes?
your team is ready to receive Perseverance.
I am paying attention.
Copy.
We are ready to receive Perseverance. Okay, are you ready for the new one is on the left?
Not yet.
The 121 is on the right.
We'll let the team here have... not yet. We'll
sorry, this
let
is
the
gonna be
team
hard
here
with
have
Voca.
a few minutes with the telemetry, and then we'll do our briefing. Remember to put the details in capture for your counterpart on the
so
surface
OD
team.
137 spread.
And then we will do an over Voca report.
And I don't think anything else actually changes in this.
Surface 50. Are you staying on 20 ops or
other
switching
than
to,
I can't actually read stuff very well, but you're saying it out loud, so I'm just trusting that what you're saying is what's there, just so you know.
Copy.
But I think what you described makes sense to me.
And we have no orbiter file deliveries from Monte Carlo this morning.
Okay, it looks like they're just wrapping up over there, so we're probably not going to get the landing data here until sometime later, which is kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping it would be real time, but it is what it is, considering this planet is so far away, and we'll just have to be patient for it. That's what it means when you're landing on a planet that's 6 to 12 minutes away by radar or light, I mean. Wow, I think that guy just handed him a bottle of booze. Well. Well, thank you all again for joining me today. I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up since it doesn't seem like they're going to give us any more information. If you're interested in space exploration, though, check out the channel. I do a lot of space exploration. And, people always ask me, well, Manny, why are you so interested in, space exploration? Well, if we find alien life, this is going to be the ones to do it. Yeah. And, my channel is called The Search for Universal Truth, and a lot of that is astronomy and space exploration, so I think that kind of explains it. But anyhow, again, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you had a good time. If you're interested in some of the programs, like I said, go watch the videos, and I put links for all my videos in the description for all of my... in the descriptions for my videos, you can find links for my research. So if you want to go out and read more about these subjects, you can go down any rabbit hole you want. Just don't blame me for it, okay? But do come back and tell me what you think in the comment section of these videos. Well, folks, for now, I guess that's all I got on Perseverance. I'll do a follow-up video when we get the telemetry and the actual recordings and some more images. Be well, take care of one another, and have a good day. Bye.
As always, this has been Manny at Area 503. And I wish you all the best until we meet again. and I am out of here to continue my search for universal truth.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.